Well, Colin, you wanted some time just to get some clarity of things. There's been a lot said from a lot of different places over the last couple of weeks, and that needs bringing to a head, I suppose. Whereabouts are you with it?
And where I've always been with it, in my opinion, football club can't function without taking its football fans with it. To take your fans with it, you need a conduit, somebody to act between the link between the football club and its supporters, to keep those supporters informed. We're about to go into probably one of the biggest changes in this football club's history, and we don't have anybody to keep the fans informed of how we intend to do things, what we need to do, and more importantly for people to come to us and say, listen, how can we help? We've never had that. No one's ever come to us and said, well, by the way, how can we help you? And so that's where we are at the moment. We need to be able to create a link between us and our football fans, our fans that really truly believe and love the football club.
Just for clarity, what you're talking about there is, while the club can promote itself and communicate via its own channels, you're talking about something that's supporter born, essentially.
Yeah, fans will have their own questions and they would like to know what's happening, and if they don't have the vehicle to get those questions asked and answered, they're completely in the dark, and therefore it allows for any kind of misinformation or any kind of nonsense to become absolute legend without it actually being clarified by the club. The biggest thing that I've asked for, and once again I asked for not so long ago, was, look, we need somebody to be a link between the club and the fans. Please, are you prepared to do it? And it hasn't worked out, and so another group has approached us and said, look, we would do that role. So I've welcomed it, because the fans have got to know what's going on, and they might put me under some intense pressure with regards to questions they want to ask. And I said all along, there's nothing to hide here, but I do want the fans to buy into what we're trying to do and understand why we have to do it and what we're doing. There's a lot of speculation with regards to the club's state of affairs as it is at the moment, but it is that, pure speculation. No one's ever asked a straight question and ever asked for a straight answer, and it's so difficult to actually make contact with people who quite happily type away on message boards all day. If you've got a question, get somebody to come and ask it, be the link between us and the supporters. That's all we're looking for.
That link, obviously in years gone by, has been there with KHIST. There has been that relationship. It is strained at the moment. How can that be repaired, if it can be repaired?
I tried, quite simply. I asked in no uncertain terms, line in the sand, whatever's happened's happened. Let's bury, old problems, old attitudes. Let's just move on. It wasn't forthcoming. No, they don't want a relationship. I was told quite categorically they don't want a relationship with the club. Fine. Somebody needs to do it. Somebody needs to be that link, and therefore we have another opportunity. Now, they are duty bound to ask any question that the fans want them to ask, and they are more than willing to do so, but they're willing to do it with the care of the football club at the core of what they're doing, and so they'll be welcomed, as anybody would have been welcomed when I asked for this nearly 18 months ago now. Nearly 18 months, and I offered an opportunity for any supporters group to have a presence in the board and all the rest of it. Nothing was followed up. I was never actually asked any questions around anything that I offered at all. It was just assumed that, oh well, it's not going to work out for us. Well, that isn't a negotiation. That isn't a discussion. That's just an assumption. Well, if you base your business on assumptions, how on earth can you survive? You have to thrive on fact, surely, and asking honest, open questions of your support, of your football club, is the right way to do that.
I'll give you some speculation. The football club, its board, yourself, are chasing monies paid into the KHIST lottery by supporters. It needs it desperately because the club's about to go bankrupt without it. Tell me about that.
I'm not interested in KHIST money. I'm not interested in the slightest in KHIST money. They raised their money. They've made it quite clear that they will put money forward to the football club for specific cases. The lift was a bone of contention, but the lift was my idea, and the people who are raising the issues around the lift now wasn't even chairman at the time. It was Jeff Coles that was chairman, and it was I that suggested that the lift isn't possible, so we used the money for emergency repairs in the stadium. in emergency repairs. It was well received, and they've had their shares for it. They've had a share certificate to say that they've paid the money, and therefore they've had a receipt for their money. That's it, period. I did ask them to put some more money in January when I wanted to make a bid for Arthur Ganoa, and they said that my valuation of Arthur Ganoa was too high. Well, I've been buying footballers and selling footballers for 20 years. I trust my valuation over anybody else's. They decided not to do so. We didn't follow up on Arthur Ganoa. I think Arthur Ganoa would have been a great addition to the football club last January. It was decided and determined that my valuation of the player wasn't correct. No, but they decided. I haven't said it's my money, giving me the money. It's their money. They decide what they want to do with it.
So, positively, there is obviously the Kidderminster Harriers Fan Club, which, like it or not, was set up by Kidderminster Harriers fans. There is KHIST, and there is the football club. There is no reason, is there, why the three of them can't exist quite happily together?
I don't see any reason why they can't work together. At the end of the day, they all know each other well enough. So I can't see why they can't work together. Surely we should all want one thing, and that's for the club to succeed. And at the minute, just get a feeling that maybe that's not the top of the agenda for certain people about the club succeeding.
Do you regret the situation that we're in now, in the sense that we're obviously looking to close it off and draw a line under the sand? Do you regret that we're in this situation to begin with?
Somebody pretty close to me said once that to be a leader you have to make difficult decisions, and that's what you have to do, and that's what I'm more than willing to do. You are going to upset people, but it has to be ultimately for the benefit of the football club, and that's the reason why I make any decision. It can't be for my own personal gain, for sure it can't be for my own personal gain. It's for the benefit of the football club. The decisions that were made for the benefit of the football club. Do I regret having to talk about this, having the relationships break down? Absolutely. Have I tried to fix that? I couldn't have been more conciliatory than when we met last time, and Dave Seddon was quite aghast with the tone that I took, but I genuinely wanted a relationship between KHIST and ourselves to work. It was declined. The door was slammed almost off its hinges, and it was declined in no uncertain terms. No relationship with the football club whatsoever. That's changed. We need somebody to be the conduit between us and our supporters. They weren't prepared to do so. Fine. They've done great work for everybody in the past. I understand that. I wasn't a part of that history. They went round with buckets and collected from our supporters to save the football club. They carried the buckets to bring the money into our football club. They did lots of other things, fundraising things as well. Much appreciated, and they'll go down in history for that. At the moment they want nothing to do with the football club. So, relationship over, we need to work with people who want to actually support the football club.
And going forward, can that relationship not still exist, whereby we all get round the table and agree what is best for the football club?
I don't know how many more times I want to ask. I don't know how many more times I've got to offer. You know, at the end of the day, sooner or later you've just got to get on with things. So, you know, I can do no more than say there's an opportunity to come to board meetings. You can put somebody that wants to come every month and ask me any questions you want to. None of it materialised. None of it materialised. Because there's this underlying paranoia about me and my motives within the club. Well, if you're paranoid about somebody, take more time to find out about them. Don't hide away and whisper in corners. Come and see people and find out. If you then determine, actually, I don't like you, at least you've taken the time to find out. Don't just assume that you're not going to like people because you haven't actually found out more about them. And that's what I find. We are talking again. How many times have we spoke about this in the last 2 years? It's ridiculous. There's so much to do. There's so many brilliant things to be involved with. There's so much more our supporters could get involved with. Some of whom will have their own businesses. Some of whom will have work for big companies. Some people, you know, that would really enjoy the involvement in the football club. And we're denying them that. Because what? Because we can't talk.
Well, let's be honest, I can tell you, having to say it so many times that you're blue in the face, you still want that to be the case.
Has to be. We have to be able to have a relationship with our supporters, and our supporters have to be better informed. They have to be. Otherwise, what are we doing? What are we doing? But being informed and understanding where you're going comes at a cost. Sometimes you'll be party to some information that might be a bit delicate for a couple of weeks, then play the game with the football club up until the point that that information can come out readily, and then, because we don't want it to affect the opportunity maybe to sign a player, or that a player might not be wanted anymore, or whatever it might be, or a sponsorship or whatever. Play the game properly, but understand that, you know, there'll be a time and a place. But in the main, there is no question that can be asked that's going to cause us any embarrassment whatsoever. There's nothing that can be hidden.